Welcome to a Fred Poag podcast.
Let's go. Let's put on a Comic-Con and let's see how many people show up.
That was me when I was in college and I was working tech support for the student union, and we hosted our first Comic-Con, like KAMI, like anime. And then I remember running tech support for that, and now it's this big thing that's been going for 10, 15 years now. Which,
dude, how awesome is that? Yeah, I love that kind of stuff where it's just like you leave your legacy.
Yeah.
So before we started, you know, for all the people just joining in, I'm gonna hijack Nick's show a little bit. We were talking about the differences of strip clubs and whether you could get cuisine. And so as a former aviation guy, you know, not so much Marine Corps, which I did. I purely did that for research. You know, I took notes when I knew I was going to become a computer writer, and I was there purely as research. I was not there for any other purpose. But one of the best prime ribs I had was in a strip club in Charlotte. And that's exactly why, like, I mean, seriously, no bullshit. Like, the best prime rib I've ever had was in a strip club in prime rib, that you actually go there to get that, right? It's just like,
I'm gonna have to take your word on that, because I am gonna fess up to something that nobody ever believes when I say it. I have never actually been to a strip club, not for lack of almost or whatever. Like it was not some puritanical, you know, thing. Whatever. I like the human body, but I have been to plenty of other seedy locations, and the food is always the best there. Like, I remember going to like a hole in the wall casino, and because they knew you were going to spend all your money on the machines, it was like, oh, you could eat steak and shrimp. And I was like, I'm going to get gut rot from this. No, it was good.
No, it's great.
Yep.
That's why it's why they did. I mean, so fun fact about me, like, so I was in, so when I was in the Marine Reserves, went to college in Memphis, you know, busted out of that, came back home to East Tennessee, you know, and so I'm like trying to figure out what to do with my life. And there was a strip club called the Mouse's Ear, right? And a buddy of mine from high school worked the door, right? And he said, hey, and I wasn't doing anything. It was like I was in between jobs and whatever and blah, blah, blah. And he's like, hey, why don't you come hang out? You can get in, you know, if you got nothing to do, because we were like catching up. I was like, yeah, sure. I was like, so, you know, I used to come just hang out, right? And he was just like, all right, this guy's with me, you know. So the girls like were just kind of cool with me. They didn't try to hustle me for money and everything else. After kind of hanging out there for like, I think a couple weeks, and I helped my buddy break up a few fights, I ended up getting a job. And so that's how I ended up working in a strip club when I was under 21, right? And it was just, I started hanging out there because it was like basically they'd let me drink illegally and I wasn't going to get, you know, hassled by the cops, you know. So yeah, I eventually became a bouncer in a strip club. You know, I didn't date any strippers, so I didn't get into that stereotype, you know. But I was, for a brief period, about 4 months, I was a bouncer in a strip club, you know.
Nice.
I've lived with that.
And I kind of learned that whole business and how it interacts and how the women interact, and like, you know, kind of like what all that stuff is in there for, you know. So like kind of, and I think that's why I have a different sort of view on sex work, especially on Substack, and why I've talked about it sometimes, where it's like I've seen kind of like, you know, it's basically customer service work, except, and that's what it really is. It's customer service work. You know, it's like they're entertainers. They're selling, you know, a fantasy, right? And I mean, it's like they're there to get you to spend money because they're working, right?
Yep.
You know,
I've got something to follow up with that. Were you about to say something real quick?
Nick, so I was going to say, as I say my own fucking name, because I'm ridiculous. I'm going to talk in the third person now. So back in the day, there was this young man, Nick, who lived a block away from a strip club. I did. In college, I did. I biked by this place. It was in a seedy part of Pittsburgh, and we bike by it every day on my way to school. I never went into it.
never.
Also, never ate the food there because I knew it was bad, because my buddy did go in there and got sick from eating the food. But on a good strip club. So we got into this conversation, y'all. We got into this because we were talking about the weird laws around like different states and strip clubs. I don't know how it
Yep.
came up, but food around it. And I mentioned that food cannot be served in strip clubs in Washington state. And so they can serve alcohol, but they can't serve food. So you have to go out of the establishment to get food, then come back. But they always had really good fucking food next door. And I went by and there was one, and I actually took my kids to this one, my wife and kids, because they had a burger joint that you drove up to, and they had they just the fries, like everybody knows Five Guys, and they have pretty decent fries. Like they're not the best, but they're better than a lot of other people. Like it was like Five Guys, but like on steroids. And if you're from Washington, you know Dick's, or if you're from that part, the Seattle area, Tacoma area of Washington, you know about a place called Dick's, which you always leave with a bag of Dick's
I am not from
when
that
you go.
area. I know about Dick's from a Sir Mix-a-Lot song, Posse on Broadway. That's how I know
And
about Dick's. You
and
know,
so Dick's is a great burger joint, and they have amazing good fries. It's like that. And you just drove up. There's a strip club right next door, and we were like, huh, they can't serve food. No wonder there's this good ass fucking burger joint right next door. But let's start the show, I guess technically officially. Is welcome everybody. It's the Sick of This show for another vet talk today. I wanted to bring on my friend from the Army, Jacob Summers, also otherwise known as Captain America. He does some amazing cosplay as Captain. He he's second to none, I guess, for America's ass, because you can't beat Chris Evans.
I'll
Sorry,
take that
brother.
title.
Sorry, brother. Chris Evans wins that one.
It doesn't squat as much as I do. Continue.
But as you can see, this man is very, very fit. So we wanted to bring on one of my friends. He's in a different space than a lot of us are. He's in the gym space. He works out. He's a bodybuilder and a competitive one, and looks incredible. And I wanted to bring him on to show him into the Substack world a little bit and to get his opinion on things, because I know you're in a red area. You've got some strong opinions of things going on, and you're in a space that's been taken over by MAGA.
Yeah.
So, wanted to welcome everybody. This is Jacob Summers. You mind introducing yourself a little bit to everyone?
Yeah. So I will only amend slightly one of the things you said. Yes, I do bodybuilding. First and foremost, I'm more like powerlifting and strongman. I have won a couple shows in bodybuilding, but it's just one of those things where I spend so much less of my time doing that than like doing strength stuff. I don't remember if you remember my buddy Baden when we were in the Army, but yeah, no, he always teases me about going back and forth on powerlifting, bodybuilding, and strongmen and Spartans are always there the whole time. So yeah, I am a gym owner in Tuscaloosa, Alabama. I actually own and run, and it's my creation. It's not a chain or anything else, but I am the only officially allied safe space gym in the state of Alabama. So we have other gyms that are allies. Don't get me wrong. We've got some great gyms, including one up in Huntsville, but they've often come down to partner with us, even including when we did something called Pull for Pride, which was an event that was a transgender deadlifting competition where they picked 5 cities in the United States, and they picked us because they honestly didn't believe Tuscaloosa, Alabama wanted to host a transgender powerlifting competition. So got to host that in my gym.
That's fucking awesome, dude.
Yeah, it was fun. And that happened the first year we were open. We were barely open 6 months, and we were able to do that. But yeah, no. So as you also mentioned, cosplayer. I've been a nerd my whole life, cosplaying since 2008. Been putting on costumes since I was 4. And yeah, no, I definitely live in a very, very red state, and it is definitely gotten more so in the last couple of years, and definitely the last year. Aside from that, I'm also a bartender, so there's a little bit of that overlap of conversation with bouncer and sex work that we can touch back on later if you want to. selling the image, selling the product, as you were talking about. Yeah, and aside from that, I could keep going, so I will shut up and whatever you want to talk about.
So, real quick, we had a question in the chat before we go any further. What is the A40 in your name stand for?
The short answer is that's your fault, Nick. So,
Is it
yes, it's based on the conversation we had yesterday. So, I'm gonna start off super light with it,
okay?
and super light with it, but I had already been. The other thing is I like reading and writing, ranging anywhere from reading books like End of Policing, which is not asking for the end of police, it's police reform and stuff
Yeah.
like that, to reading, smutty romance novels. So my wife and a couple friends got me into those. And so you can see those aren't even half the books. If I spun around and showed you the other ones, it'd make your jaw drop. We built 2 bookcases, me and a police officer buddy of mine that I played D&D with. But
We got a
as to,
fourth. We need
yeah,
4. We need at
yeah,
least 4, right?
yeah. But
He's got a beard too, Fred. I'm trying to
I
bring
that's
him in.
fine. I mean, I listen. I'm willing
He's
to play.
auditioning. He's auditioning for the
I
fourth
it's
bearded
the
wizard.
longest thing I've done in my entire life is role playing tabletop.
I
Mhm.
actually just started a new campaign with him where I'm the DM for it. So, but yeah.
Oh, nice. Yes,
Sort of,
I don't have to DM. Fantastic. I'm in.
it's the second or third time I've ever done it. It's been forever, but no, I started a Patreon for my writing so that I could raise money for it while I was writing a chapter at a time, release the third draft to people, one chapter at a time, and then I decided that since I turned 39 on Sunday, that I'm going to spend the next year basically writing almost 40. Like, basically, as I'm in this pivotal stage right now where I am having to figure out what I'm going to be doing with my gym, whether or not we stay brick and mortar or go virtual, and I make some shifts and changes in my life. I've been really good at being able to manage the chaos and keep moving forward. You've known me for a while, but right now it's just gotten so chaotic that I'm like, it is time to take a beat, take a breath, figure out what I'm doing moving forward. So as I write that and or do videos, I want to pull people on that have ideas about what they're doing to help, with self improvement and center themselves. So it's a way for me to learn from others while other people can watch it. So I'm calling it almost 40, but after I turn 40, if I keep doing it, it's just going to get shortened to A40. So yeah,
I like it. I
it's a
like
long
it.
answer.
Thanks.
Sorry.
No, that's a good answer. I like it. I like the why. I like asking questions because I like to hear why people do things because that's really important because that intent and context gives us
Yeah.
meaning and lets us have empathy for others.
Yeah.
Um, and that's something that we've really lost in America is, people aren't really empathetic towards each other and kind of just shut off. So as a gym owner, and as a bartender, as someone who is in areas that tend to be fairly masculine or toxically masculine, how have things changed in the last 10 years?
Uh-huh.
Since you and I last saw each other, let's say in 2017,
Yeah.
or 2016-ish, so almost
Yeah.
10 years,
Yeah.
8 years. What have you seen shift the most in the gym culture and what concerns you the most about it?
How PC do I have to be on here?
You don't have to be fucking PC at all. We
Okay.
swear, we cuss, we talk about sex work, we talk about transgender issues, we talk about gay rights, we talk about everything
Okay.
because I'm part of the community. I want to make sure everybody's in a good space and we talk about things honestly, but with mindfulness. So
Okay.
that's our only restriction is mindful of the crowd,
Right.
not mindful of, you don't have to be tolerant. We don't demand tolerance, but mindfulness.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
PC, don't give a shit. Swear, cuss, talk about bad people in bad ways.
Conscientious. Yeah.
Yeah.
The only thing I will say is if you come after any Colorado sports teams besides the Rockies, I'm throwing back. So Broncos, Buffaloes, the Nuggets, like
Oh man,
if you talk shit about them, I'm like you're getting both barrels. I'm just telling
oh man,
you. Rockies are fine though.
okay. Aside from the Captain America image and the having to be responsible and all that, one thing that I really do love to do is shit talk, and you just handed me one of your triggers. So just
That's
be
that's
careful with
not
that.
trigger. I mean, it's a warning. That's all it is a warning. You know.
Okay. So, I only ask that because there are some people like be very, very careful. So anyway,
Nope. Don't be careful here.
the
Just be mindful.
yeah. So and you know me, like
Hmm.
I used to say I'm strictly like libertarian or third party or whatever, and to an extent I still am, but I'm definitely way more blue leaning. So I, especially because those other ones have gotten such a misconstrued. We've shifted far right on the entire spectrum in the last 10 years. The spectrum is so far red, it's not funny. So that even the people that you consider moderates are being labeled extremists now, and extremists are way over there. Anyway, so all of that to say is to say that with the gym, when I first started doing it in 2012, like I had started working out on my own before the army because I was originally going to go Air Force combat controller. And I passed that test, but the recruiter dragged his ass on it. And so I was like, screw it. I'm going the same branch both my parents did. I'm going to go Army. Went linguist or crypto linguist. Didn't pass that high enough to keep crypto. Went into into interrogator, human intelligence collector. Top of my class, whatever. Along the way, I got so stressed out, needed a stress relief, needed something to work on that I trained for a triathlon. During that triathlon, I drowned twice. Managed to be pulled back to shore, went, screw it. I need muscle. I know that swimming also requires cardio and muscle is heavier, but I need to put some conditioning on. And that was my Batman origin story, basically. But all of that to say is up until that point, was doing it on my own, no community, no, like I might go look up some blog articles every once in a while, but I was really trying to source what I got from just straight information. After that, I joined the Reddit Body Transformation Fitness Challenge, the BTFC, and it was a whole thing where whoever was in this subreddit, like you go do these 3-month long challenges, and whoever at the end they thought made the most progress, won something. I forget what the prize was. Really supportive at that point. I even joined a website called Fitocracy, which was basically Facebook meets the gamification of exercise. You could earn XP and level up. And it was around that time that basically a lot of the community was super. I'd either describe it as what I describe myself as, either center blue or blue. Basically, they were just super accepting. It was consensual. There were a whole bunch of groups that were consensual. Like you could show off a little bit more if you wanted to, whatever, or you could keep it tame and PG. Like it was basically just, it was the Wild West, but it was respectful and people were understanding of your opinions and supportive of all body types and lifestyles, which changed my views because when I was at DLI, the language school,
Hmm.
it would often be joked that I was fat phobic, and I was not. But what it was I saw a whole bunch of my leaders not passing PT tests, and I was like, look, you don't have to fit a certain body image, and there are reasons for not passing some of those tests. So I get that, but the other ones who just aren't trying, like that's why I got labeled fat phobic. But it caused me being in that positive environment, surrounded by all these people with this positive headspace, to begin to adjust my tone and my language and perspective. It made me a more open and receptive and perceptive individual.
Hmm.
Um, and that's honestly what jump started my love for this many years now, going from, if we count 2012 as the beginning, for 13 years now, of being like, okay, if it was just, I tell people all the time, if it was just about fitness, just about lifting things, I might not still be doing this, but it's about all those inherent qualities it gave me, the understanding and sympathy and empathy towards other people, which I had before, but I honed better with that, and that discipline, and then being able to give that to other people. And then sometime in the last, I'm going to call it 5 to 6 years, I'm really going back, you know, or wow, really, it does coincide with the end of Trump's last term. We really began to get this influx of fitfluencers. And at first we were making fun of them because we were like, okay, these Instagram babies, boys and girls, and they're just sitting there trying to sell products. And, yeah, okay, they need all of this because they wake up with a 6-pack. So at first we were laughing them off, but then it's kind of turned into, and I don't know if y'all have talked about this on your show yet or not, but it turned into basically a microcosm of the whole thing going on with the Sydney Sweeney ads right now, where basically what it really was with these were these Aryan poster children masquerading as fitfluencers, basically telling everybody, oh, hey, well, you can look like me, and selling the false product, but then also undoing all of that body positivity that the entire fitness community had worked towards. It started pushing it back towards, if you don't look like me, then you're not doing something right. And the way they used that ranged anywhere from it's because they wanted to sell a product to they wanted to feel superior to they wanted clout and be able to continue to raise their own reputation, or some combination of all that. And so now this community that I've bragged about for years, where it's, powerlifting and strongman, bodybuilding is a little bit of an outlier because bodybuilders have always been a little bit cattier. They've always kind of been like, I don't know if you've seen Pumping Iron with Arnold Schwarzenegger and Lou Ferrigno, where like Arnold's trying to get in Lou's head the whole time. That's the way bodybuilding is. But powerlifting and strongman and Spartans, like, you can lose to somebody and still go cheer your competitor on. The competitor could beat you or lose to you and come cheer you on, not because it's PC handholding, but because they're like, we're here to do something epic. Like, I want to win or lose or draw to you when you're doing your best. And so if that means I finish and I run around and cheer you on so you can beat your old time by 2 seconds, great. And even my mom, the first time she ever came to one of my powerlifting competitions, she leans into me afterwards and goes, have you noticed that everybody here is a little bit fringe? And I was like, what do you mean? She's like, it looks like everybody here's going through something. And I was like, welcome to powerlifting and strongman. And she's like, but that guy with like the Norse tattoos. I was like, I've also got Norse tattoos. She's like, that guy with the colored hair. I was like, I've got colored hair. She's like, this person over there. I was like, you need to stop making points because you could just point over to me right now. But she kept up. But I was like, no, welcome to, some people have made it to the healing stage in it. And some people are still healing, but everybody's here for self-improvement. And the reason they've stayed is this community has been conducive to that. And we're not beyond the point of reversal on that, but we do have a massive influx of this new form of toxicity. And ironically, it's not even from what I've seen from the older generation. It's from this new generation that's bringing all of this. They have been poisoned by somebody else to have all these ideas. And I'm not saying it's not their responsibility, but they've been poisoned. And what they don't realize is they're being used as the channel into the fitness world, while they think that they're just getting to flaunt off their flawless bodies that, mommy and daddy paid money to be able to keep them on everything that they needed. And, or they're just still 22 years old and they could wake up and smoke a carton of cigarettes and drink a 6-pack and still have that body. And now I'll shut up and let you talk. So,
No, I love that. Thanks.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Fred.
No, it's fascinating because so back in the day when I first started lifting, I didn't know anything, and I've been doing it off and on. Depression's kind of what kicked my ass and kind of pushed me out of it, and sleep apnea and everything else. But the people that kind of coached me were powerlifters at a gym, right? So I was, learn how to deadlift, learn how to squat. I got back into it in grad school. And the guy that I went and talked to and got coaching from was a power lifter. Like, I'd had chronic lower back issues for a long time, and deadlifting, getting the posterior chain helped fix those in a lot of ways because I strengthened, that posterior chain from doing those compound movements. And the thing that I saw, and I kind of see this now from what you're talking about in the Manosphere and everything else, is like, it's gone from fitness as part of a path of healing or part of a path of acceptance, as part of a path of a community, to the aesthetic is what matters, right?
yeah.
And so there's a guy, I think his name is Noel Durnitz, or he's in South Africa, and he went mega viral, and he put up the gear he's on. So for anybody who doesn't know, gear is like testosterone, all the other stuff.
Steroids.
Steroids, HGH, all this stuff. And he said, look, I'll be open and honest, because you had all these people that are obviously on gear that are like, I'm all natural. I got this all naturally. It's like, no, you didn't. And so Noel came out and said, hey, here's all the gear I'm on. This is what I do, right? And these are the side effects, and this is the problems it's having. Here's what it's given me, and then here's the bad stuff. And then you have all these young guys that are instead of it being a cautionary tale. He said what he was surprised is now you have all these young guys are like, oh, I need that. I want to get that. How do I get that? And they start using. So it's become, to your point, Jacob,
Yeah.
it's less about the community and self-improvement and trying to, like, just how women have been, like you got to fit this unrealistic beauty stereotype. Now men are suffering from that same thing, from this unrealistic, unattainable body types, right? This
Yeah.
unattainable sort of fitness. And so rather than just doing it as part of healing, as part of, self-care, it's turned really toxic. Like, what have you seen with that in sort of your, and like in your space and where you kind of operate?
So I'll start off with the general and I'll talk about how it hits here specifically with my gym and the location. So in the broader sense, we've got a little bit of a catch 22. I'm not really a catch 20. Well, yeah, a catch 22. Those Andrew Tate worshipers, followers, whatever.
Yep.
The good thing is nobody that I know online, like past the age of about 25 or in person, seems to either give a fuck about them. Cussing is allowed, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh,
Okay, cool.
absolutely.
I mean, we're on bets, but still. So nobody gives a fuck about them, or they give a fuck about them for about 6 months and then they're done. And
Yeah.
so they kind of just tune them out, except if you're younger. And that's why I say it's a catch 22, is that the only people that's working on, because almost everybody I know who I've been lifting with for years, and even some of the newer ones, just roll their eyes and like, yeah, whatever, that guy's a douche. But the ones that it is having an effect on are some of the younger generation. And the reason that's a catch 22 is because the future of all of this will be shaped by the younger generation, for better or worse. Like we were shaped by the people who came before us, and then we shaped the people, but it also works the other way. That new blood shapes how this is going to look in the future. And so really the good thing about that is that it tends, and this is where I'll bring it to the how it's affected local. Oh, by the way, no nicotine vape. It's helping me to wean off of this. So if you see me hit this every once in a while and you're like, why is a gym owner got a vape? I had a very bad, like, not addiction, but definitely, yeah. But yes, no nicotine vape. I also say that because I'm neurodivergent as hell. And if I had a stim, it would be an oral fixation going, yeah. So,
That sounds about right.
yeah.
It's the hand to mouth thing. A lot of people have a hand to mouth, especially in the military, because
Yeah.
we're sort of trained to have a hand to mouth
Oh,
effect of.
and I try to replace that where I can with, Captain Hydration reputation that I've got online. Remember to hydrate, and then take my shirt off and drink the water. But yeah,
Ice bucket challenge yourself.
I've
Just
got 200 videos of doing that, and somehow that earned me Captain Hydration title anyway. So no, but the good thing about that is down here locally, people tend to isolate themselves into those pockets, which is not good because it's an echo chamber and it means that there's no room for them to experience different perspectives, but it also means they're harming or affecting less people. They're not in these mixed settings. So you either get places like Planet Fitness and Crunch where everybody's like headphones on, head down, doing their thing when there's 11,000 members, or Planet Fitness where they're like, look, we don't deal with that bullshit. Do your workout and don't fuck with anybody else. Or you get like the gyms that I've seen around here that are like, okay, well, the Andrew Tate wannabes are over in that gym. And then we've got all of my super fruity misfits in my gym lifting 600 pounds while wearing a tank top that says Gym Daddy on it. And and then telling their friends to come in, and their friend comes in with a Carhartts on, and by 6 months later, he's also wearing an Ally shirt or something like that. So, which we've seen happen over and over again, where people are like, "Oh, wait, you mean the gym doesn't have to be like this?" So, everybody tends to self-isolate, and the only way that it's working for me to continue to affect people down here is that method where we bring in our people, and then they kind of vet which friends they want to refer to come in, and then they get exposed to that, and then they expose other people. But I am glad that at least most of these taters, whatever you want to call them, tate heads, taints, I don't know, are
Dipshits.
tater
You know.
dipshits,
tates.
yeah, are basically isolating themselves into their own pockets. So, yeah.
Well, I've been throwing around a new thing is that I like I've s- there's a Joe Walsh said something and then he was corrected by someone and he corrected himself was we need to stop referring to weak men as pussies. We need to just start calling them testicles. And my rationale is because testicles are soft, weak, and they hang out near an asshole all the time. And we've pretty much got that going on in the world
Yeah.
right now. Is just a bunch of soft, weak men who hang out near a giant orange asshole every day and just ruin everything in our lives. So,
Ugh.
what do you think about that, Jacob? Do you want to? Because that fits in with the taints, the tater taints. I just want to start calling these people the worst fucking names possible and be mean at times because they're mean all the time.
Well,
Like,
I call myself the anti-bully all the time, and people are like, "But doesn't being an anti-bully make you a bully?" I was like, "Yes," but it's that I am not one of those Punisher stands. It's like, okay, I'm going to put the Punisher logo on my M16 or car, and I'm like, aren't you a police officer? Have you not read a comic book? But
No, no.
there's a great line from the Punisher comics where he goes, "When every last person is taken care of," I'm paraphrasing, but when every last person's taken care of, I've got a bullet saved for myself. That's what I tell everybody all the time. I was like, I bully bullies, and when there's no more bullies, then you can worry about me. So,
Right.
so I,
yeah,
in the special forces was like, do bad things to bad people. Like that's not me trying to be machismo about it, but I stopped caring about sparing people's feelings who have proven themselves to be that way over and over again. Empathy is for people you think you can reach, and it should not be extended endlessly, because if you're worried about extending, and I read a great a post about this yesterday, if you're worried about extending empathy endlessly, you're not really an ally or an advocate or a champion of anything, because
No.
you're more concerned about saving these other people who have shown their actions to you than about keeping your community and the people who choose to do the right thing safe. You're more worried about bringing a possible wolf that you can save into the sheep's den than about keeping your sheep safe. So,
Right.
I think that's great. I think the idea of limiting empathy to, as I call it, from my years of therapy at this point, I do an emotional distress tolerance therapy and mindfulness therapy, and that fits right into like the idea of emotional your sphere of influence and your emotional energy, and you impact and affect only your sphere of influence. You don't try and reach too far beyond it, and it's a bubble. It contracts and expands. It's like your lungs. It expands and contracts your sphere of influence. Sometimes it gets bigger. I like the idea of a bubble because bubbles can expand endlessly as long as you're correctly filling it with the right amount of soap and air and water. You're going to get an endlessly large bubble, but it also can then shrink if you take some of it out. And I think like the idea of sparing your empathy is really good in that. So that's cool.
there,
I like that. I like that
there,
concept of sparing
there-
empathy a little.
there's a great quote by Derek Weeda, and I don't know if he's gone MAGA or conservative at this point. I haven't kept up with him in years, but the vet that was CrossFit, double amputee, I don't know where he falls politically, so I could be quoting a very like sketchy source at this point. But his quote still stuck with me years ago, which is basically only affect everything which is in arm's reach. Now, I use that within my daily life to be like, stop overextending yourself, but I
Hmm.
also use it for my rule for who I want to pull into, who I can help or who can be part of my circle, because the arm's reach is mostly for me. It's to go, stop overextending yourself, but it's also to say, if I'm like, hey, and I extend my hand to help you, and you keep backing up and making it so that I have to reach outside of my arm's reach to go help you, I'm sorry, it's up to you to step back in before I begin to help again. So,
Yeah. Yeah, pretty much. I mean, it's the analogy I always like to use is a lifeguarding thing, right? When I was trained as a lifeguard, both in the Boy Scouts, and then I worked as a lifeguard. First rule they taught us was like, look, people you're trying to save can be panicking, and they can drown you, because they're not in their right mind. they're going to push you under, they're going to try to climb on top of you, and they could drown you. So you have to push them away, right? Until they either tire it out, you can help them, or you have to mentally prepare yourself that you're not going to be able to save these people. Because the last thing you want to do is also become a drowning victim, and then someone has to save you both,
Yeah.
right? Or you both die. And so for
Mhm.
me, it's, as someone who's been a caregiver now in later life, and I've dealt with my own issues and my own stuff, is you only have so much energy. You only have so much tolerance, right? And it's as much as I'd love to be able to have an unlimited source of energy and an unlimited source of empathy, and I could just keep giving it to you until you finally come around.
Yeah.
It's like
People will
I
take as much
can't.
energy as you give them. Yeah.
I
Mhm.
can't. And so the thing is, if it comes down to someone who is an ally, or I'm supposed to be allied with, and someone who's through no fault of their own being oppressed, and you're the oppressor, guess who's getting my support? Guess
Yeah.
who's getting, you
Yeah.
know,
I
guess
know
who's
who I'm
getting my empathy? It
I know
ain't
who I'm
you.
I know who I'm reaching out to and helping. Yep.
Yeah,
Yeah. They're
absolutely.
not pushing me away, and they
Yeah.
want it. Like, I'm gonna give empathy to those who want it back, like you just said. Like, you can't push away forever. There's a choice that's made with receiving empathy, and that's when we have to stop when we give it, and we have to start giving ourselves that understanding and permission and saying it's okay as people, like individuals, it's okay to stop giving empathy to someone and move on.
Well, and
Doesn't
there's
mean you have to
also
cut them out permanently,
no,
and maybe you can try later. Maybe you can try again later. You can come back to that person. Don't ever give up totally on a person, but you can move on and be like, yeah, you're lost for now. Let's move on. Maybe we'll come back later.
because I
Um,
mean, because really, it kind of comes down to what life
mhm,
do you want to live, and what world do you want to live in, right? What do
yeah,
you want to devote your time and energy to, right? And so, if you're neglecting the people that are to Jacob's point, in arm's reach, that are your circle, that are your people, right? In favor of people that don't appreciate it, are antithetical to the world you want to live in, and are actively trying to tear it down. Why?
Yeah,
You're
because
like,
that's another point is we every human being just some of us may be able to do more with every ounce of energy that we have and some can do less. That I don't mean that that's better or worse. I just mean some people can multitask and turn 1 minute of energy into 2 tasks, whatever, but we still all have a finite amount of energy. And so any amount of energy you're spending trying to reach for somebody that doesn't want help or has rejected your help or needs help is energy you could have been using to help other people who will appreciate it, take it, and benefit from it.
yep, and
yeah,
help you build a better world, and help you build, because again, if we're talking about democracy, or we're talking about even your own life, it's built on support systems. It's built on people. It's built on communities. It's built on it's built on family. And for a lot of folks, myself included, families found, right? I have a lot of people in my family that are horrible people, like that are racist, that are bigots, that are actively tearing things down that my father and my immediate family stood for, and I found it in other people that are like-minded and want to help build that world. And so it's like, oh, why have you? It's like you can't cut off family. It's like, yeah, I can,
Yeah, you
and
can.
I have,
yeah,
because
yeah.
I'm not going to let them, because they're actively trying to oppress people that have helped me and that I care and love, that I love and care about. Like, so it's for me, like the hard realization I've had to come to is just what what world do I want to live in, and what life do I want to build, and are those people part of that process? Like, I'll help you out, but again, to your point, Jacob, it's not even like I'm reaching my hand out and you're slapping it away. You're literally trying to hit me as I'm
Yep.
trying to help you. I'm not helping you.
Yep.
Not even trying to
Agreed.
beat you down, you know?
Agreed. Agreed.
Yeah, so and with that idea, one of the things you talked about when you introduced yourself was moving your gym possibly from brick and mortar to online and being more online focused. What do you think that's going to do possibly to your community that you've been building? And do you think you can? Like, is there a support structure that this is offering in a different way?
So basically, the reason for that was more, it started off more from my own stress management and life management perspective. And I've talked with a couple members about this. Nothing's set in stone right now, but it is a possible reality that I would be going to take a more regular job. And that's because, I can do all the good. I saw somebody go, how can the gym go online though through group or class training, Morgan? Morgan, I am going to get to that. I'm sorry. I keep on getting distracted because there are there's the conversation, but then there's the occasional like question. I'm like, oh, cool, cool. I want to get back to that. Yeah, so,
Morgan asks really good question.
yeah, I've seen, no, Morgan's had some great comments and questions. So it's basically, I'll make that part short, is that I am looking into doing that right now, going to do something that allows me to provide for me and my wife, because I can do all the good at the end of the day, but as one of my really like empathetic and advocate friends has said, you got to take care of you, and then you got to take care of the people you want to help, and then anybody else, whatever. And it's the same example as put on your oxygen mask before you put on your kids in the airplane type of thing. And
Yep.
so my wife's been very understanding. And I end up confusing a lot of people when I say wife. I usually say partner because I'm known for being bi or pan, and people are like, "Wait, what?" I was like, "Yes, you can be pan and married to an opposite sex partner." What was it in the army I used? Somebody called me it all the time. They said, "You are the most flamboyant straight man I've ever met." And I was like, little did they know they were more
Little
correct
did
than they thought. Took me a couple more years to realize it, but she's been very accepting, supportive. She's supported my dream, been part of it, taught Zumba, all that. But we're both to the point where we're like, would like to have, two salaries in the house, benefits, all that. We can still do this. So what we've looked at with the gym is, honestly, it comes down to numbers. I'm going to be able to do more good online than I can do in person. And the reason for that is right now I still have online people. I've been doing that the whole time. It started off online, then we went brick and mortar while I had online, and I still have online. But with going that way, there's actually a gym it's called like the Queer Gym that's on TikTok, that basically said the reason that we chose to never have a brick and mortar is we could help more people this way, and it didn't put a target on people in a location. And while I don't necessarily buy into the it puts a target on your back,
Yeah.
on their backs thing, people still deserve a space. It allows me to, if I go get this job, then I can continue to provide the programming online and reach people all around the country. As it is, I already have people around the country, and then any of our members who have had to move continue to stay with us through online training. They use our app, and then that way I can devote more of my time to the nuts and bolts of, okay, I've been spending an hour coaching this one person, which I like, but even that gets old after a while. You do your job well enough as a trainer, you basically coach yourself out of a job. You're basically there for accountability, babysitting at that point. You've taught them how to do it so well that you're literally just sitting there making sure they do it. And so whereas that hour could be spent with me going through people's programs, answering questions, adjusting calorie and nutrition and everything, and then it really is just up to them to use. I've got an app that's got videos and programs and groups and nutrition calculators, something that's MyFitnessPal, but on steroids, not literal steroids for the record. Not that I'm against those, as long as you're ethical about it, whatever. But basically, it has everything in there. And so they just have to follow it. And so if I do that, basically, I can coach people, and that I'm not literally sitting there with them, but I've taken the time to record all of these videos and given them the ability to, the moment they've got a question, ask about it. So it's essentially like being, to go geeky with it, it's like being Oracle and Batman. Like I'm just sitting there like at the helm, like, okay, so I help this person zip over to this person. It's basically a larger version of when I'm doing small group training in my gym, where
Yeah.
I'm much more efficient when I am coaching 8 people at a time, because it satisfies my ability, my ADHD-ness, to be able to go, okay, I can help with this squat. Now I'm moving over to help somebody with this curl, as opposed to watching the one person do the same 5 exercises 3 to 4 times in a row for 45 minutes. But yeah, as to what Morgan is continuing to talk about, there are still some people who need that, like that person like sitting there with them, watching them, making sure that it continues to be performed correctly. And for those people, I would recommend an in-person coach, or we might provide the option that we put you on, Skype or Zoom, and you can do it, while we're watching on video. Now, obviously, there's hindrances to that if you were at a public gym, but in which case I go back to you would still need an in-person trainer. But
Hmm.
for the other 95, 98% of people, I'm going to be able to reach more people that way, still keep that community because we have all these Facebook groups and the groups in the app and the group me's, and we've got, sell the merch. It's still a community. So, and we're building something that could potentially reach bigger than the 35 to 40 people that we keep on average at a time in the gym. So, because as much as our gym could handle 150, but trying to get 150 in Tuscaloosa, Alabama is just difficult. Whereas I could be reaching hundreds or thousands or more. So,
Yeah.
not that I have any delusions of grandeur that'll go that way immediately. The first step is just going there and then helping one person at a time. And again,
Yeah.
geeky, like from Justice League, where Batman looks at Flash and goes, one person at a time. That's
Like,
always been our objective.
you never know. Like Joey Swole's kind of, messing
Yeah,
up.
he's out now.
Yeah, he's messing up a little bit there. So there's room,
Yeah.
So
Well, it's that Sydney Sweeney effect, I guess. People are they're taking the pill and diving deep down the hole because they think it's where it's at. But I think I think conversations like this are good because it gives us it opens space for less people are in. Like most of if you think about it nowadays, most masculine male culture is dominated by that ugly fake bullshit that what we could see replaced by is Jacob on a screen, like giving
Yeah.
you positive coaching advice and like
Is
things
that
that are actually like building you and beneficial to you. And I want to encourage you to continue doing it rather than tearing you down like they do right now. And I
because
think that's something we need to change.
that's how I started out in the first place. First off, Morgan, you did 4 workouts yesterday. Are you
Oh yeah,
trying
she's
to
fucking ridiculous.
Are you trying to destroy your body, or are you like a mega athlete? Because if so, move where I'm at. I will work out with you. Anyway, so sorry, I'm usually the only person that I know in my local sphere who has worked out up to 4 times in a day. Anyway,
Oh, you'll
that
get along with her. You'll get along with
yeah.
her. She's a hoot.
But no, that is how I started, is with basic I mean, I started off in the last year of the Army studying for my personal trainer certification and then getting out and doing it. But what really kickstarted it was after my youngest brother died. One of my friends gave me the piece of advice: no, just body weight, LOL, and baby hand weights. That's still a workout. You know that. Don't try to talk around it. Anyway, so
You
him.
could give her shit. Give her
Okay.
shit.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah. Morgan
Her.
deserves it.
Oh, I'm going to give her shit.
She gives
Yeah,
us
she
shit
deserves
all
it.
the time. She deserves
Yeah,
it. She
she's
loves it.
Yeah,
yeah,
weights or not, lactic acid is lactic acid. I'm both giving you kudos and
right.
also as a coach going, listen to your body. Anyway, so I don't always listen to my own advice, so whatever. But yeah, so no, when my youngest brother died, one of my really close friends I had known since college basically told me, hey, why don't you just start recording a video a day? It could be like a minute long. Talk about what you're thinking, talk about what you're feeling. You've always been somebody who tries that kind of stuff anyway, but get your thoughts out. You don't have to post it publicly, but if you can, maybe somebody else is going through the same thing. And so I've made hundreds of videos like that just started off in a little square format with a really simple, hey, we're talking about grief today. Hey, we're talking about diet today. Oh, here's just my random thought of the day. And that's how people came to know me more broadly. Not that I'm super mega celeb or anything like that, but the people I've helped know me. And no, and that's when I began to realize in the last year or two, as I was hitting burnout stage number 15, and they don't multiply or add up. It's times themselves times itself of burnout. I was realizing that, something somebody said early on was true. A lot of the limitation of my gym and a lot of the reason that I am considering going online only is that I am limited by me being the face of it. It's not to
Mhm.
say that I have not had great coaches, but people come to our gym for me, not because of cocky ego, whatever. I just mean, like, the mentality and the environment that we have created is a direct reflection of what I've got up here, and nobody else that I've had underneath me has had that. Now, my current coach that works underneath me, Shelby, is about as close as that's come to that. But even so, we are limited by, we've had people leave, not, they won't always say it, but we have had some people leave, fade off, whatever, because I wasn't able to directly train them anymore. And so if I can do that for more people over a screen or an app and have that effect and not eventually get canceled for using the wrong word for a skin type of people, then I will be fine. So not go full Joey Swole with it. But but
we don't do that here. That's
yeah.
not what we're about. Like,
No.
But if I could be that floating head on the screen that people think that I can convince people, hey, I actually give two shits, and let's make this fun and positive again, then I think that I can reach more people that way. So yeah. Anyway, sorry.
no, don't apologize for doing good things. It's something my therapist tells me a lot, is stop apologizing for things that you didn't do wrong. And so don't apologize for being awesome and doing good things. Like, you want to do a good thing in a space, and you're trying to impact positively a space that's been corrupted and fucking destroyed. It's like most spaces that we talk about are being corrupted by, or being brought backwards into more toxic versions of everything else that they could be. I don't think you should apologize for wanting to be the fucking face of
Oh no, I was
the gym
apologizing.
world.
I was apologizing for monologuing again. That's what I was
fuck.
apologizing
Yeah,
for.
don't apologize for that either. We do that here all the time.
You slide dog, you caught me monologuing. Name that
You got me. See, that's why. See, we get an evil villain in here, and he's pretending to be this good. As long as we don't bring along the Andrew Tate, a new Andrew Tate of the world, that's all I care about. Nah, I got my brother here because it's chick.
I'm definitely the anti-Andrew Tate. Yeah, no. Yeah.
Good. So that's because, the thing is, in all of this is we're trying to make space, we're making space for a community. And we're in a really cool time right now. We're in a really dangerous time, but we're in a really interesting time, or a unique time, because we're in a space where there's a lot of access to technology, and we're finally figuring out how to use it right, and like actually teach and educate people and get out there. And Substack has been a help for that. I'm obviously an immense help to be able to get like podcasts and things like this started. But I think it's the trope. It's a funny trope, and my wife says it to me sometimes, and she says it jokingly now, is stop giving men microphones, and stop giving white men microphones. But I was like, you know what? I'm gonna give myself a microphone, and I fucking did. And I think we need more of us who are like, yeah, I want a microphone because I got better shit to say than the guys on whatever the Manosphere shows are, that like tell you that you have to like fit a certain image and hit on women in a certain way. And if you have these pickup lines, and oh, by the way, those women better be like meek and soft and
what I would explain to your wife or any woman that would say that I'd start off with this. I'd say, well, actually, I talk into a phone, not a microphone. See, at the bottom of the iPhone is where the actual input of the words go.
Oh, man.
I would mansplain the hell out of that.
Mansplain the fuck out of it.
Completely tongue-in-cheek, ironically, and my wife will be like, no, you're not right now. And I'll be like, no, I'm never going to make a sandwich joke. I am going to make I'm joking kind of thing about the mansplaining thing. And they'll be like, I'm going to kick you in the balls. I was like, is it a promise or a threat?
I got to do it every once in a while, man. The hard
to me with a good time.
That's
anyway.
right. Well, the hard part is like I get that, like, one of the things that I constantly I'll see in my feed, right, is I don't get enough people of color. Like, I don't get enough women of color in my Substack feed. So it's like for one thing, I gotta go hunt, and it's like, okay, it's one of those things I'm conscious of and I look out for. But if people that look like me and look like Nick, look like you, don't speak out and we're not in the public space and we're letting these other assholes control the conversation and they're the representatives for us, it's a problem, that we're not doing, and so the thing is, it's about, creating space for folks to, for women and people of color to absolutely have that space and amplify those voices. But we also have to be out here saying shit too. We've
Well,
got to be,
so I've got 3 things, and I'll try to keep it short. Monologue time. Anyway, so the sandwich
Mansplain the fuck out of it, Jacob.
the
That's
sandwich
it.
thing the sandwich thing did remind me of a funny story, and that is that my wife, when her grandmother was in her older age, back in, like, the first year that we were dating, her memory would reset every, like, 5 to 10, anywhere from 5 seconds to a minute, whatever. And, basically, Dory syndrome, whatever, or memento, depending on where you go with it. But no, but at one point, after we've been there for an hour, her memory resets again, and she looks at me and goes, "Lindsay, who's your friend? He looks hungry. Why don't you make him a sandwich?" And my wife knows that I hate those jokes and that I would never make one myself. But I was like, this is a golden fucking opportunity. If I don't use my signature eyebrow right now, I will regret it. So she said, "Why don't you make him a sandwich?" I went, and she was like, "You are never going to live this down. I'm gonna be making you pay for this for the rest of your life." I was like, one eyebrow is all it took. But
See what I say to I don't do the sandwich jokes. So it's like, it's like I had one girlfriend who said, "Oh, you're gonna tell me to get in the kitchen to make me a sandwich?" I was like, "Listen, first of all, I believe in you. You can get me a 5-course meal. I'm not gonna hold you back from living up to what I know you can do. A sandwich is too easy for you." And that's what I'd say.
You're better than a sandwich.
Yes, of course.
What I like to say is,
You are a more complete woman. You can
see,
do an entire 5-course meal. Come
see,
on.
what I like to remind my wife sometimes. She'll remind me too. Is you ain't a snack. You a whole ass meal,
well, my
which
wife will.
means you better make that whole ass meal work.
Well,
And if you mad tonight, go fucking sleep it off.
and we joke back and forth about that shit all the time because she'll be like, basically like, "Can you go? Can you take the garbage out, or can you lift this heavy box?" And I'm like, "It is 2025 and our Lord's year of equality. Why can't you do it?" And she's like, "You didn't just use that on me." And I was like, "No, I'm still gonna go do it for you, but I had to give you shit first."
Yeah, it's always that, "Oh, you need me to lift this really heavy thing?
The other
I can't open this jar today. Oh, I'm so weak. Ah."
No, that's when you look them straight in the eye. You say, "Honey, I believe in you, and I'm going to stand by and support you while you lift that box. I'm going to cheer you on right here
You are a strong, independent young lady.
as you are
don't
lifting that
need
box up.
no
Be like, you
man.
got this,
You don't
girl.
to go with
You
the
you
got
don't need
Chandler
no
this."
man
to
to
go
do
with
no
the
shit.
Chandler from Friends smoking tape he listened to, is like, "You are a strong, confident woman." No, but so I'll tie my other 2 points together as best I can. The other thing was we're talking about the don't give more white men podcast. I got a friend of mine that I know in bodybuilding. She's transgender. She just looks like this ripped, jacked Barbie doll and does this Marilyn Monroe like thing, whatever. She's awesome, but
Damn, that was a cool description.
oh yeah, but she's got a T-shirt she wears all the time that says "Stop giving white men podcasts," and like I know where she's coming from, but at the same time, I always say if you're not making your friends in the world cringe a little bit, then you're not doing it right. And that was a quote from God, I always forget his name, Community, Glover. But basically, he was saying, he's like, great, Gambino. He was basically saying, look, if you're so afraid of being cringe that you don't do anything, you're not doing it right. Because anything worth doing is going to make somebody cringe, which ties to the other thing of, it does require people of all types being out and present and talking. And one of the things that I get told all the time, and it's not like a white savior complex or anything, but I get told it directly, is that no, because every time I'll be like, look, I'm not trying to speak for everybody. I'm just speaking my truth. I'm trying to be out here and present. And it's like, no, we need people who look like you, white, tatted, bearded, Viking vet, who is saying all these things. It's not a white savior thing. It's you're just speaking up. And if the only ones that we see speaking up that look like you are saying the other things, then people are going to assume that that's all the people that look like you, act like you, walk like you, talk like you think, which leads to my final thing, and then I'll shut up, which is basically you were talking about it's an exciting time. It is an exciting time because we have access to all this technology, but it's exciting for another reason. As much as things suck right now, as much terrible and horrible and evil things are happening, and I constantly just stress the fuck out about it, even when I'm trying to turn it off in my head, it also has led to the potential, the ability, the possibility, the hope for there being people who rise up to meet that. So you cannot have an age of villains without an age of heroes, and that's not meant to go put on your cape and spandex, although try stopping me. Is that
you should for a show? You should come back with
it's not
the
supposed
cape
to be
and spandex.
self-aggrandizing. It's not supposed to be self-aggrandizing or look at me, I'm this hero, but it is supposed to be like, look, if we're gonna have this dick bag in office that's wearing like a dead eagle on his head and powdering himself with Cheetos every morning.
Did you see the picture of the dead eagle
on his head? Dead eagle.
Yes.
It had the Epstein files.
Oh, yeah.
Combed into his comb over. I saw.
Yeah, I saw that.
I was like, oh my god,
lips are more puffed up than Kim Kardashian, who talks like a fucking Muppet, out there making everybody's lives worse every single day, or at least. And when he's not actively doing it, he's making you think that he's doing it so he can do this shit over there. And then he's encouraged these people to do the same. Then I don't give two shits if I look corny, cringy, and self-aggrandizing, as I'm just trying to go do the right fucking thing. And now you can't fucking stop me because you just gave me a Nazi to punch, and I'm ready to do that because Indiana Jones and Marvel Comics have taught me for years that that's what we're supposed to do.
We punch Nazis. That's what we do.
Right? I will make sure that they're a Nazi first and not just a motorcyclist. But if they're an actual Nazi, I'm going to kick him in the goddamn balls.
That's exactly.
Yeah.
And here's
we need to bring that back.
And that's the thing. And listen, on a white man podcast and me being a white man, I'll say this. I'll paraphrase Ric Flair. I can't help it. If I can talk good, if I can freaking have awesome opinions, if I can freaking podcast all night long, I can't help it. So that's why I'm here.
I can deadlift 628 pounds, put almost 300 over my head, bench press almost 4, and squat over 5. I have looked it up. The weight of an unloaded mid-sized motorcycle is 565 pounds. And I know I can squat that, deadlift that, and I'm working on bench pressing it. Do you think I do that just to say that I can be Captain America? Or because I want to know that if two Nazi MAGA fucks come charging at me, that I can grab them and throw them.
and while I can't do that, I can sure make it interesting talking about it. You know?
Oh yeah,
and that's what I do.
Well, I can bench press maybe 125 right now, and I do know how to throw a knife. Like, come on, come at me, MAGA. Like, there's a reason I have fucking throwing knives in my office, and it ain't for show. Because come at my door, motherfucker. I'm gonna hit you, and I wanna just look at that.
Within reach at all times is an act.
Just remember. Just remember.
I'll do it the slow way. I'll do it slow. I'll just hit you with my cran apple bottle.
I'll just throw my Starbucks mug at you and call you a weak soy boy as I hit you with my Starbucks coffee and fucking come at you with my pink hair that you're so afraid of. And we need more of this. Like, being courageous in a time of the internet is as simple as starting a podcast. Like, seriously, that's all it really takes right now. Is they're giving us the tools to out talk them. We're being given the tools to do better than they are. And guess what? Just like everything else in life, MAGA and fundamentalists make everything fucking suck and boring. The rest of us make it so much more fun.
And being vocal, visible, and present is one of the things that, God, I hate that I'm going to quote this person. Oh, but she used to not be so horrible. J.K. Rowling, before she went full transphobic, used to be, or at least pretended to be, online, somebody would come after people and she'd go after them like positively, like basically they'd be the dickbag and she'd be the good guy. And when somebody was like, why do you even bother replying to them, she said, because we need to be visible too. Basically, we need to be present. Like we could ignore them, but then the only people who are talking are the bullies, the assholes, and the dickbags. And so
Yep.
that was the lesson. I was like, okay, well, I don't have to like, it's not my chest to be like, me here, me save you every time. But at the same
Yeah.
time, like, it's our job to be vocal, visible, and present, because people don't need to think that the only ones that are out there are the assholes simply because they're the only ones talking, or they're the ones talking the loudest. So,
Yeah,
Yeah.
like, and that's the thing. I don't want to save anybody. I'm not here to save you. I'm not here to save other people. That's not what I'm here to talk about my issues or things that I want to talk about and maybe hopefully influence some people. And like
Yeah.
that's all I want to do is I want to make other people think just a little bit harder, ask some questions and go, "Hey, yo, we might be able to do things a little different." And sometimes it takes and it's that common thread where women say it all the time, people of color say it all the time, is it's your responsibility for the people that look like you or who are very similar to you to call them out. It is
oh, yeah.
not their responsibility. It's my responsibility as someone who looks and passes white and is white to call out other people who look and pass as white and straight and what I have. Like it's my
Yep.
job. It's not my wife's job to call out men. Yeah, it's rewarding to watch my wife do that and fucking own some dude and fucking crush his world with facts and logic and make him look tiny and weak and insignificant. But it's not her job to do that. It's fun to watch her, but it's my job to do things like that. Not because I'm protecting her from it, because she can do it herself, but because it's my job to influence men that look like me and provide men that look like us or other just men in general, positive examples of what it can mean to still bullshit and talk. Like we talked about women during this whole thing. We started out this conversation talking about strip clubs and food, but
Yeah.
we didn't talk derogatory about anyone in any of this situation. We didn't talk down about the people who worked at strip clubs. They're sex workers. That's their job. They do customer service. They serve customers and they're really good at their jobs. And we just look down on them because they do a service that most people find gross, which it's not. It's just fucking normal.
Yeah.
Um,
And I mean,
l-
yeah,
like
go for it.
and so like we've got to just put ourselves out there and be the example and be willing to make mistakes. Like I'm willing to get told that what I said is wrong. I'm willing
Yeah.
to be told that what I said might not have the right meaning behind it and that I should fix what I'm saying or figure out how to say it in a different way that doesn't hurt people. And that's what I'm going to do. And all it takes is a little empathy for the people you care about, but not the ones who are unchangeable. Fred,
Correct.
take it. I'm on
No,
land
yeah.
now.
I mean, it's, for me, it's like, it's just really simple. It's like I'm trying to leave the world a little bit better than when I came into it. And that's it. Whatever time I've got on this here, you know, like it's not about a legacy. It's not about being remembered. It's not about anything so vainglorious. It's just while I'm here, just trying to leave it a little better than where it was. And that's it. Because
Yeah.
honestly, like what matters is the people that you're interacting with today, your family, your friends, these conversations, and that's why you write. That's why you do these things. It's what do you have to say? And what do you have to say about the world you find yourself in? And I mean, the thing about it is like, is you, to me, you live a deeper and richer life by expressing who you are, by expressing
Hmm.
yourself, right?
Yeah.
By putting that out there. You get more out of it by like, there's stuff that I'd rather not write about or rather talk about or like, I like my, I feel like at times my online identity is a freaking mess, because my life's a mess, you know,
Hmm.
because I'm a human being. My life as a human being it's a mess. I was talking to my sister the other day. I can't remember a time. of when I had a transition in my life where it ended the way I thought it would, or I wanted to. They ended, some good, some better, some good, a lot bad, but they ended and I moved on,
Mhm.
you know, and it's always messy. And so is helping people. And so is, so is being present in the world. So is growth, we got Jacob here who's, an athlete and we've all trained, we've all done this is like literally building muscle is you're damaging your body so then it can repair itself to accept more trauma, right? That's all muscle growth is.
Which has been the
It's your
story of my life psychologically too. So I get where you're coming from. Yep.
Yeah. You are conditioning your body to handle more trauma, to give it fuel to repair itself, to handle more trauma. And
Yikes.
that's it. And I mean it's so it's some yeah, I mean
Yeah, that's
I
And to wrap things up a little bit, because we're a little bit past the hour, and I want to make sure we respect time. And we've been going for a while, back and forth on different things, not just this vet talk, but our
sounds like
previous
you need
vet talks.
to
I,
bring me back on soon.
yeah, it
Yeah.
sounds like Jacob's coming back on again here soon. You may be seeing you'll hear from me. Don't worry, brother.
You know what we need
Um,
to have if we bring Jacob back? I want part of this vet talk. I want a shit talk 10. I want to give us 10 minutes to talk shit about a specific topic because that is what's missing from my life. Is like
okay.
I do not have enough things to talk shit about because I love talking
Yes.
shit. It's one of my favorite
And
things to do.
Oh
You
man,
yeah.
know,
if we have a TED shit talk, then oh man, we'll have a master class. I'm okay
yeah,
with
we need to have we need to have like it's like it's time for the shit talk 10. Let's go. What's the topic? And it's just like boom. Are the Denver Broncos the greatest sports franchise to ever do it? Yes,
No.
or
no,
The
absolutely
answer
yes.
is no. The
No,
no.
those
answer
are
is
the
no.
only two. No, the choice is yes and absolutely yes. There might be a third one that's like, are you kidding? Of course it's yes.
He
So
he asked this question in an echo chamber, so it keeps bouncing back and forth. And
I asked it in reality, sir.
he
I
mistaked
asked it
option
in
B for
reality.
option A. Option A never left the echo chamber. So
Well, no, there's no echo chamber. The only echo you're hearing is the greatness of the Ring of Honor for the Denver Broncos. That's all you're hearing.
Mm.
You
so
You're
I
know?
would
actually
say that
hearing
you're
the
I would say that
hollowness
you're
of the stadium as it's empty.
I
No,
would
no,
say
no,
that you're I
no.
would say that you're beating a dead horse, but that's what a Bronco is anyway. So
This is
Oh
why we
shit.
need a shit talk 10. This
And
is why we
and
need a
on
shit talk 10.
and on that, my friends, that was fantastic. Jacob, you're amazing, brother. Thank
That's
you
good.
for coming on with us today. You have been fantastic. I'm gonna drop. Please subscribe to Jacob. He's new enough on Substack, and he's starting, like you said, to do a little bit of work on it. Do you have any socials you'd like to shout out for yourself before we go anywhere today?
Well, my first whatever I do a blog post or a video is going to be Sunday because that's my birthday. That's going to be starting the whole Almost 40 series. So if y'all follow me on there, you'll see whatever I decide to post on there. Other than that, easily enough, you can find me as some form of Captain Valhalla on just about everything else because it's the fusion of my Cap and my Viking personality. So if you wherever you go looking for Captain Valhalla, I'll probably be there, and I'll probably be shirtless telling you to drink water. So,
Hey, that's the way to do it. That's how you get people to drink water.
oh,
And with
it's
that,
worked.
oh, I bet it has. And you also threaten them when you're like, you're just like, you drink your fucking water, man. Just get the neck. Drink your water. Drink it. We should just have like we should have like a murder show where we just do like crazy like nutcase voices and faces.
Oh, I can do
Um,
Crazy Eyes
any,
real well because it's not an act. Anyway.
anyways, y'all, as we always end it, thank you everyone for coming. Jacob, thank you for being here with us. Thank you everyone in the chat. We love all the comments. We love the interaction. And let's stop being sick of this shit and let's start doing this shit. I'll see y'all again.
Thanks
Thanks,
again.
everyone.
Please like and subscribe. It definitely helps me out. And if you want to see my face again, well, you kind of have to do it. Keep the faith, defend democracy, and I'll see you later.